Yo, One Piece chapter 1168, titled Elbaf Snow. Very interesting title. We're back. There was no break, but man, what a week it has been for One Piece, dude. I mean, last chapter with all the Shanks reveals, Saint Shanks infiltrating Mary Joa, infiltrating the Figureland family and the God's Knights. We finally get to see what he was doing before he was at Fuchsia Village, at Windmill Village with Luffy. I think the whole internet was just going through the Shanks timeline, just looking at what bro was up to, and I love the videos about him being like the background main character of One Piece. Obviously Oda's favorite character, as he said before, kind of like his self-insert, but we can now see maybe what Roger told him and then where Shanks's will went. He had the straw hat, he had the will of Roger with him, but we didn't really know what was going on. And I love the theory of him finding out about the Nika fruit, trying to figure out where it was, getting info from the Celestial Dragons, finally seemingly the fruit getting stolen from Elbaf. We might see that this chapter. It just came out early on a Thursday, so no spoilers here. I cannot wait to read it. And then eventually stealing the fruit and potentially looking for Ace at Windmill Village at Goa Kingdom, but instead Luffy, through maybe the will of the Nika fruit itself, ended up eating that. I've been going through every chapter that had relevancy with that, and I've been loving just piecing together Shanks' story. Um, but overall, what an amazing chapter, and then obviously ending off with Ida's potential death. Maybe her official death will be in this chapter, but we're really close. We're only 1 year in story away from Shanks then being on Elbaf when Harald is killed, with Loki being framed for the killing of King Harald. Extremely exciting. I couldn't stop talking last week, so that was a longer video, but let's try to get it done this week within 30 minutes. I was just jabbering away. I was yapping last week, man. Uh-uh. Obviously, we're closing in on Christmas time. So Elbaf Snow in the title, and then we get a snowy cover story with Hachi. Cover request by Mrs. Fuji. A family of sheep knit 6 gloves for Hachan. A family of sheep knit 6 gloves for Hachan. Say that 10 times fast. Super cute, though. Adorable. All right, let's go right into the chapter. Ooh, we're still here. 15 years ago, that same year, all over the world, Harold's efforts are paying off. But those giant marines are really doing a good job. They're so reliable. I always thought they looked scary, but now I wouldn't mind meeting one. Okay, so there's a bit of a rehabilitation on the view of the giants now that they're a part of the world government and a part of the Marines. Exactly what Harold wanted. Can't you get us stocked up again? Elbaf seafood is super popular now, you know. I bet it is. Oh my god, look who makes a fucking appearance. It's Umit, one of the underground bosses. This here is a top quality Elbaf cedar. It's a rare and tricky item to transport. I'll take it already. Okay, so the Atom Tree. The Atom Tree branch is maybe also being transported now. Are we going to see some go to Water 7? I mean, maybe that's it right there. But obviously the giant fish as well from Elbaf. Elbaf New World. Harold! Harold! When we finally became a member nation, I think we should build sightseeing ships so our people can freely visit all of our allies. So obviously this is 15 years ago, so Dory and Broggy have fucked off long ago. right? They're fighting. So they don't actually, that's interesting. They don't know this era of Elbaf. Dory and Bragi are going to come back to a very different, I mean, they have come back to a very different Elbaf. So our people can freely visit all of our allies. We are actually a rare minority from the perspective of the outside world. But there are many nations out there with a wide variety of races coexisting. This is thanks to a culture of mutual respect. Let's join the larger world, make new friends, and grow in knowledge together. That sounds great. So this is giving like if Otohime was successful in her wanting to merge Fishman with the outside world, right? This is King Harald convincing the giants that this is actually a good thing. And now we're going to see maybe giants trying to integrate into the larger world, which is really interesting to think that like Dory and Bragi were hidden away in Little Garden, you know, a myth. When people went to Little Garden for 100 years, there were giants there on the Grand Line, right? And then you think, well, okay, Oimo and Kashi were guards at Eni's lobby. And then obviously the Marines had giants, but you didn't really see giants around, I don't think. Literally up until Hajruden at Dressrosa in the Colosseum. I need to go back to those chapters because that must have been a real spectacle. And obviously, what could I be forgetting? Before the time skip, Stanson being sold beside Rayleigh at the auction house in Saboti. And then I think we see a random giant on a random island during the Odin flashback with Roger. But Stanson, I think, was that the first one that we saw? Obviously after Dori Bragi Oimo Kashi, you know? That's interesting. The first wild giant, Stanson, and then Hajruden, which are both from the Giant Pirates. So we haven't really seen giant civilians around, I don't think. Unless I'm blanking. Comment if I'm blanking on anything specific. So let's see. Maybe like he wants it to be successful, but let's see how the integration actually happens if it's even started within the last 15 years. We're one step away. Our future has never been brighter. Well, obviously, actually, he gets killed. So does that just kind of stop it? So then the only giants out there are actually the giant warrior pirates. That would have been interesting if we saw like Goldberg and Gerd and Rodo like scattered across the timeline of One Piece, and then eventually you find out that they're all just one crew, and they were the only ones that ever left Elbaf like that. That would be interesting. But obviously it didn't happen. Yeah, let's ditch this warrior crap. Damn. Okay, so some giants are agreeing that this warrior culture is really nonsensical. I'll make it happen, Ida. So she already passed away, and now he's kind of like. So this is her will, obviously, to integrate. So he's like, my wife has passed away, but I'm doing this for her. Damn. Walrus School. So the Walrus School was built within a year by Saul. This is all thanks to you, Saul. Better sharp kids than sharp blades, huh? That's a cute saying. But ain't you afraid you've lost something here, Harold? I don't believe that military powers would make a country strong anymore. It's because of Ida. She's taught me everything. Meeting her was the greatest blessing of my life. Okay, so last chapter was her official death. I love his look. People be hating on Harold. Obviously, I think bro is very naive to the world, and he just wants the best for his people. And it's one of those things where, like, because of his individual strength and because of the strength of the country, I think it's very easy for for him to have yes men around him. There's no one really saying no to Harald, right? It's not like a King of Riku thing where he can easily be manipulated and taken over. So I think his choices are ultimately something he thinks is correct no matter what, because no one is saying it's a bad thing. So Saul here actually saying something is interesting. But then Harald also has the humbleness to like have a conversation about that. So that's appreciated. And obviously Ida was one of the people that stood up to him and kind of corrected his way. But rest in peace. He looks great here. I love his design. Hey, Harald, Elbaf really has changed a lot. When I first came here, there was tons of internal conflict. It was scary. But you've changed everything. Now, children can laugh and study instead. It's like a totally different country. Ha! The old customs, our backwards traditions, all of those bad practices from the warrior era will be thrown away. Oh, but I kind of like the whole warrior's pride part. It's really cool. You should cherish your culture. Don't you get it, Ida? It's that very culture that kept us from marrying. I can't accept it. You always did say you wanted to make me your legal wife. That really is the sweetest thing. You're so cute. What about Loki? He'll always be Hajrun's kid brother, won't he? In my heart, I've always thought of him like that. Feelings like that keep my heart full. It's what's kept me going all this time. But don't worry, it's okay. You're everybody's King Harald. Man. And you're almost there, right? That's right! That's right, Ida! It won't be long. Soon, we'll be connected with the whole world. Our world will be tens of thousands of times bigger. Then, we can go traveling together. Just like the old days. You're tugging at my heartstrings again, Oda. I knew you couldn't just skip her death. I knew it. You had to put it in here, didn't you, motherfucker? The Cold Snow of Elbaf. Is that what the title is pointing at? The coldness. Them Young is so cute, dude. God. So that was his goal. He's kind of like if Odin actually became Shogun and let the isolationist stuff go. I really like this angle for Elbaf. It is different than the other stories we've gone with in One Piece. That sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Me too. Draw. So fuck, man. I thought this was before he left. I thought this was before Loki's crash out. This is after the crash out. She's dying here, dude. Because it's like the whole last chapter, the doctor was like, we gotta tell Harald that you're sick. Here, she is sick, and he knows, so he was by her bedside till the very end, dude. What a guy. Without showing emotion, just a hardy warrior of Elbaf. And then her hand slips out of his. Fuck. And we got Hajrun rushing in. The doctor standing there and Harald leaving crying. Hajrun crying, dude. Moda crying. Ida died with a smile. Was she a D? Harald trying to keep it in, and Loki in prison for the arson that he allegedly did on as a joke, which we know was not a joke. Probably the most valid crash out we've ever seen. Not even able to say goodbye to Ida. The snow falling on Alcohol Village. The destroyed remnants. We haven't seen tears yet from Loki. We haven't seen tears yet. I think that's important. I think that's important. "14 years ago, the holy land of Mary Joa. Shanks is missing?" Indeed. I'm gonna guess it's Garling talking. No, it's the Gorosei. Okay. "Shanks is missing?" Indeed. "He has completed his last mission. He would have been formally knighted." Had he completed his last mission? So he only had one more mission. So I'm still curious what Shanks has been doing. What kind of fucky shit has Bro been up to? Just to get to the deep sea contract, right? He would have been formally knighted. "As you are our next choice, that opportunity now falls to you. What will you do?" "Ha! I'll naturally accept the honor of being one of God's knights. Doing that will secure Elbaf's membership status." So this is the year, dude. This is the year that it happens of his death. Imagine a giant god knight. Full Harald. That's crazy because it's like the era's been going, you know, like the Yonko are up and about, and Harold's still kind of like. Yeah, someone said Harold was the first warlord, and I love that. I love the idea that after Harold, they realized that the warlords actually were that having pirates as power kind of thing would keep the balance, but he's like single-handedly a warlord right now, which is really interesting. And I want to see that. I want to see that transition within the manga. "Congratulations, then. The Great One has agreed to trust in you. It's been a long process. You'll be remembered as a king who brought great change to Elbaf." And again, the giants being one of the kingdoms that was on Joy Boy's side and not one of the Celestials. It's like your Emu slowly turning. Does that mean Harold's a D in some way? Because I think the assumption, at least my assumption, is that the D clan is the clan of Joy Boy's group. Like his Straw Hats, they're all Ds, and then it's like the branches of the tree. Or it's the Ancient Kingdom citizens or something are the Ds. I still think Momo and Odin are Ds. I think the Kozuki name is technically the same thing as a D. Because of the voice of all things that they have. But I wonder if Harold and therefore Hajruden and Loki would both be Ds, which is crazy. But unless it went through Ida. But then Loki wouldn't be a D. Anyway, that's just theory crafting. So they're walking. Oh, he's gonna meet Emu, isn't he? He's gonna meet the man that Rox wanted fucking dead. Or that killed Rox. Well, to be honest, when Elbaf finally joins the world government, I plan to relinquish the throne. A younger, more virtuous ruler than I should take over. Ooh, they don't like that. You're talking too much, Harald. You're talking too much, buddy. I don't know what voice to give Emu, man. That is a matter for Mu to decide. Bro is actually at level with the empty throne. Look at this room, dude. What? Why? Why is there someone on the empty throne? Come. Mu has been watching the Harald. He's screaming so loud that Mary Jo itself is stretching, bro. The branding of the devoted, it just reminds me of like the Berserk brand, right? The brand of the devoted blade, the God Steel, devoted blade in the Viz translation. I don't know if I like God Steel better, but whatever. It like gets imbued with horns now. They're like seared on the devil's horns. This power. It's surging within me. It's chilling. We see Oda didn't finish this page. Very sketchy. Very sketchy. Ooh. Oh, this chapter. These scans were early, brother. This is the power of immortality. Of immortality. It still sends shivers down the spine. He is now beyond any wild monster. He has been forged into a mighty weapon. Consider thyself an immortal knight, sworn to Mu. Immortal? I can't believe it. Carve an abyss pentagram in Elbaf. That will mark the bond between us. Okay. Thy dearest wish shall be fine, or thy dearest wish shall finally be granted. Huzzah! As soon as this last mission is completed, Elbaf will be recognized as a member nation of the world government. Woohoo! Thank you, King Harald! Okay, so bro passed God's Steel, gets promoted to what I can assume is the deep sea contract, which is, Morge talked about this, but I think it's pretty obvious. I did talk about this last chapter. God's Knights have deep sea contract. Gorosei have deep sea or abyssal contracts. So God's Knights have immortality through regeneration, but they still age, such as Garling aging. Although Gunko, it's interesting, because Gunko doesn't seem to have aged much since... Gunko hasn't aged much since God Valley. Does Gunko have a Gorosei type contract? That's really interesting. One of the first God Steel members we've seen too, so maybe she's gone to that level. Garling aging though, Summer's aging, so they don't. They have a probably deep sea. So I'm guessing he has deep sea, which means he can still age, but he can regenerate. So I feel like them stabbing him in that panel actually means they're not killing him. Does Loki have to kill Harald through his own conqueror's hockey? Fuck. Fuck, I just realized. Okay. Alright. So bro has immortality, meaning regeneration now. He puts the pentagram in Oust Castle. Huh? Could you repeat that, great emu? And now he also has the like the telepathy. Although that might be a shallow contract thing too. Emu being able to speak to them through the symbol. Mobilize the entire nation and form a grand army of warriors. And he's pissed. He's pissed. This is the exact opposite thing of what he wants to do. The giant warrior fleet will stand alongside the Marines and serve the world as... What? No, hold on. Everything I've done was to free Elbaf from violence. Of course, if anyone still wishes to fight, I'll gladly encourage them to enlist in the Marines, but... Who's the king talking to in there? So he's going against Emu. But now, how much control does Emu have? Ooh, look at the eyes. Look at the hypnotic eyes. Thou vow to atone for Elbaf's history, even at the cost of becoming a slave. I meant to carry that burden alone. The burden of such history is too great for thee to bear alone. Now hold thy tongue. Thou cannot disobey Mu. Harold's gotta have conquerors, bro. Bro. Mu, you trying to control motherfuckers that went under Joey Boy? Hell no. Hell no. They gonna talk back. Harold's pissed, dude. He's like, this wasn't part of the deal. Those who enter into a deep sea covenant may gain immortality and power, but it comes at the cost of total obedience. Thou wilt carry out Mu's orders, regardless of thine own will. This isn't good. I'm losing control. Elbaf. They never meant for it to become part of the fold. Curse that emu. This isn't good. I'm losing control. Elbaf. They never meant for it. I think he means I never meant for it to become part of the fold. Curse that emu. He's clawing at the mark. Oh, is he going to tell them to kill him, bro? Guards! The plan was always to enslave the warriors of Elbaf. Finally, it's too late, bro. It's too late. Your naivete. It's too late. What is it, your majesty? Is someone... Chain me to this pillar! Huh? Hurry! Summon Elder Jarl and my sons! But sir, I believe Hajrun is still out at sea, and Lord Loki, is still imprisoned after what happened. I can't resist for long. What exactly is this concerning, your majesty? None of that matters now. Release him. And so we're obviously going up to the moment of Loki, which I just read the chapter, Loki going with Jarl to Harald, and then us seeing all the guards stabbing Harald. The worst day. You're free to go, Loki. Huh? Head out to Oust Castle at once. The king requires your presence. Bro's just chilling, he was sleeping. Jarl's house. Something urgent. What's going on? And so, we return to where this tale began. The day of the Castle Massacre, when Elbaf's most beloved king, Harald the Benevolent, lost his life. History converges, chapter 1168, and break next week. Bro, that means Ida and Harald died like that. Like, Loki got hit with a 1-2. Hajrun got hit with a 1-2, bro. Damn. I mean, we're here, though. And they say at the beginning of the chapter, Shanks disappeared. But obviously we know Shanks is with Scopper on Elbaf when this happens. So we're going to see the effects of what it is to betray Emu while having the Deep Sea Covenant. If one of the God's Knights were to betray Emu, what happens? I mean, we're already seeing some control. But everything we've predicted is coming true. So, I'll see you guys next time. See you for the double anime reaction this weekend. Peace out. Bye.